Maybe their internet cut out. All right. I will play for another game. Nope, they do not want to play. Okay. I won 20 elos from that. This person must be aborting a bunch of games. Okie dokies. This is going to be really quick to 200 elos, I think, so far. Okay, will we get this one? Okay, another person playing the Polish. I will do the same thing. I'm just going to go knight f6. Bishop b2. Okay, so now they're pushing a pawn this way too. I'm not going to have that change my plan. I'm actually still going to go e6. Immediately attack this pawn. Question is, do they know what they're doing, or is it something else? They're just attacking the pawn. I can probably just take this immediately. Something to be careful about. You don't always want to take pawns in an opening when you're not sure, because sometimes it's a gambit. Is this dangerous to take? Maybe, maybe not. Usually when you don't know and you don't want to take a pawn, I would recommend developing. However, you also have to be careful about just developing without thinking about it. Like if I, for example, go here right away, and I just go knight c6, they do have b5 right away, which, you know, I'll end up moving my knight. It might not be a big deal, but it's just always something that needs consideration. In this instance, I will likely take the pawn, because I don't see it being a problem. I kind of have a feeling they're going to go rook a4, but I'm not sure. I'm considering that they might go like this. I'm going to take it on the basis alone that I'm kind of curious what they're up to. I'm curious. Okay, they instantly go knight f3. Alright, well, I'm not going to let this change anything either. I'm actually just going to develop now that that pawn is gone. I do have a feeling at some stage like a 200 or 300 elo is going to absolutely demolish me. We will see. They dropped the knight back. Interesting. Okay. So if this was a blitz or a bullet game, I would consider dropping this bishop back to c5, maybe going knight g4, trying to get a mate on f2. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play some normal moves. Now, what is the best way to develop my pieces here? I'm not 100% sure. I'm not going to castle yet, because I have no idea what they're doing over here. Not that I think it's super threatening, by the way. I'm either considering d5, just getting the bishop out this way, or I'm considering b6, bishop e7, and I kind of like that. I could also potentially go d6, but I want my bishop not to get stuck. The downside of going d5 is that then if I do want to go on this diagonal, this is going to be blocking this. So probably I might go b6. The only thing really to consider here as well is after b6, something like, I don't know, e3, bishop e7, bishop g5, sorry, bishop b5. If there's any way for them to attack my bishop and then somehow capture my knight and then capture this, but I don't think so. They're speaking in chat. They said I don't know what they're doing in chat. They've done, you know what? Let's change the scene. Why not? No, you know what? I won't. Whatever. This is going to be part of the speedrun. I don't need to show their chat. They're doing a little funny face. Let me see. I will go there. They want me to speed up, I think. They're doing a little sleeping emoticon. Oh well. I hope for their sake that they're actually not a 200. They joined 4 minutes ago. Oh lord, bro. Am I about to get cooked? They joined 4 minutes ago. Here we go, guys. Alright, I'm going to continue with the plan. Bishop e7. If they continue with a4, I will just take it with the knight. That is a strange move. Okay. Alright. I'm going to play this really, really simple. I'm going to put a pawn in the center. If they push, I can take. And if they take, I get the queen out. Or I can take with the knight. I probably should be castling soon, but I still do not know what they're up to. So I'm going to just do this and see what they're going to do. I love it when people chat like that. It's pretty funny. Alright, if I go here, they can go knight c3, but I'll probably just consider taking it. Right. Let me see. I'll take it with the queen. I don't see any reason not to. The thing is, I can take with the knight too. I'm going to take with the knight because of a threat. I'm not sure. It won't happen. This is probably not what I would recommend, but because they're trolling me in the chat, yeah, we will see. Right. I'm playing like 200 ELO players, bro. Not much to study against me. That is funny, sir. Okay. I have a hidden threat. What do you mean, Raids? On stream or something? I do have a hidden threat. If they went knight c3, it may have been not necessarily lights out, but alright. I can attack their rook right away. I might do it. I'm only playing this a little bit differently now because I see that they created this account 4 minutes ago. Fair enough, Raids. The thing about trying to analyze my games is I play things differently every time I play, and if somebody is like, I don't have prepped openings. Anyway, let me see. This is a free rook, and I'm actually just going to take it. Okay. I guess we'll go over this game afterwards, but once again, not too much to talk about. I did assume that maybe they were smurfing only because they were trolling me in the chat here, and they new account, but maybe not. Kind of feel like they're going to get mated very shortly. So I can ignore that and just take their knight. I probably will not do that. I'll probably just move my knight. And then I assume they want to go bishop b5. Which then I'll take this with check. All right, I'm going to go... My 2 main moves I'm considering here... Sorry, 3 main moves. Taking the knight. And then if they take, I just give a check and then take it back again, which is probably what I might do. Or going here right away, preventing them from taking. But then after bishop b5, I don't know. Yeah, and I was also considering knight f4 straight away too. I think I might just take the knight because I am simply up a full rook already. And then here was what I was saying. I'm gonna go back. Okay, they'll block with one of these guys most likely, and I will just take this again because I can. And I really don't see me losing this game at this stage. I could take this, but why give them any development? I'm not scared of a queen trade here. I mean, I'm not scared of their position, so I don't need to trade a queen. I may as well just move my queen, take the pawn like I initially intended. Okay. I'm going to make a prophylactic move. It's not going to be any lights out for me by any means either, but I don't even want them to get this check if I want to move this knight. And I do want to move this knight now because I want to bring in this knight over here, maybe give it check here. So I'm just going to do this. Just takes away any ideas of bishop b5. That's all. We will see. Okay, so they're going to go that way. I will continue with the exact same plan I had, which is actually bringing in the knight either to d4 or e5, both taking away the bishop f3 ideas. I'll go knight e5. Because if they drop it back, I can still go here and basically force them to trade. Okay. I will just take it. I do not have any reason not to take it, as far as I'm aware. And after knight f3, I'll just probably castle, because at this stage, I don't see how they mate me. Okay. Alright. If they take with the king, they get mated, so I'm just going to take this. Simple. Actually, I'm going to go here too. No, there's no reason to. I'm just going to go here. I'll just clean up. I would recommend for players, if they're winning a game at this, especially at this rating, if they're winning already, you may as well just simplify as much as you can when you're already in a winning position. Here, I'm actually just going to make a simple threat, try to come out this way. Alright, I'm gonna check, and now they actually have to give me the queen. One way or another, because they push the pawn I can take, or I can take, and then after they block I can take. So this is 100% game over. Hello, Afro. I will check your message in 1 second, sir. I'll simply take the queen. No need to overly calculate. I will castle along, take this pawn. They may block it this way. Sorry, they may defend this way, but super, super duper simple. I'm just going to castle. I'm not going to calculate anything spectacular. Just not necessary. All right. I'll take a free pawn. Once again, don't need to calculate. And I will bring in more pieces to finish the attack. I might just, rook d6, rook d8, and just sacrifice if I need to. All right, I'm going to go over here. I have no reason not to bring in another piece. The more attackers, the more successful the chance of an attack. Bring another piece in. Not strictly necessary here. I'm sure I could find a checkmate quicker. But this is what I would recommend people at this rating range to do. Okay, this is actually going to be another free rook. I guess my slowly maneuvering pieces, they've kind of forgotten they were trying to defend this pawn, which is fair enough, it makes sense, but I'm actually just going to take this now. It's very frequent also at lower range, elo ranges, is to completely kind of miss one piece attacking from one side of the board. At this stage, I can just sacrifice the rook if I need to. I can sacrifice the rook again. So let me mate in about 3 if they take it, or less, I don't know. Okay, king is cut off to the back rank. It can't come over here, and now they still have pawn pushes. Very careful, because if they didn't have any pawn pushes, maybe I would stalemate them in here. Either one of these is a mate. I will. What's nicer? I'm gonna go this way. Actually, I think this is nicer when the queen and the king are lined up. Checkmate. All right, good game. All right, let me just see before I analyze it. What if I castled and brought my rook under your queen and king? Out there, bishop b4 threats. Sorry, Afro, do you know at what stage you're referring to? Because feel free to let me know if you know which move number it was. Or is it kind of similar to what I did in the end? Hello. What's up, yo? Yo, what's up? MRID. Emrid. So they played this opening. They played a very interesting opening again. This is the second time somebody's played like a Polish opening here. I was starting to think that they were actually maybe a Smurf because their account was created 4 minutes before this game started or something. And then they started doing like faces like the palm on face emoticon, whatever emoji in the chat. I thought they were trolling me. But yes. So I thought originally that after they went a5, I thought they were playing one of these ideas where after bishop goes there, I thought they were going to do this, which is pretty common too. People kind of just bring the rooks out and attack, I would have just dropped the bishop back. Or I would have gone knight f6 and knight c6 and allowed them to take this. Usually if somebody's going to capture something, you don't have to move it back if you can defend it and if your piece is worth more than what they're going to trade with. Let me go over here. So here I just developed anyway. Once again, not necessarily, you can see the computer saying it's not the best move, but I'm just practicing what I preach, which is just develop your pieces. If there's no threat, continue to develop, bring everything out. So they were playing some weird stuff, which is good. It's good to see because I think a lot of people at the lower elos as well, they do kind of freak out a little bit when somebody's playing really weird stuff and pushing pawns. But here I was sticking to what I say, just develop your pieces. In this case, usually I say castle as soon as possible. I did not want to castle because I wasn't sure if there was any threats along here. They still had a lot of pieces. Maybe they go bishop back to b2 after this. If we can envision h6 in some position, if I push or if I take, my knight would be kind of loose, not hanging because I have a queen. Maybe this later on attacking, so I always want to be careful. So I thought, this is a weird move. What's another way to get my pieces in the game? Just take the center. Hello, Slice. The move where I pushed my a-pawn, stop the bishop from pinning. Okay, you're saying around there. Oh, when I get there in a second, after I'll have a look. I know what you mean though. So here they developed the knight again. So they were kind of shuffling back and forth. I'm not quite sure what the idea is. Or if they were kind of just messing about. Maybe they were trolling in the chat because I was taking a long time to make my moves, which is their prerogative. It's up to them. They missed my main thread here, which was twofold. I wanted to develop a queen. Usually you want to castle first, but I did not feel completely safe castling with this H pawn all the way down the board, and then the fact that they could also attack this way. So I thought, let me control this diagonal first so they can't go bishop b2 right away. Maybe they could have tried some ideas like this, queen c2 and then bishop b2. Probably I would have had something for them if they started doing that. Oh no, queen c2, I just take the rook anyway. Sorry, I'm tripping over here. So they missed the other idea, which is after I control the diagonal, it's attacking the rook. So long diagonals are frequently missed in lower Elo ranges as well. They just attack my knight, but, you don't always have to move a piece if it's being attacked. You can also make your own threats. My main considerations here were this. Here, which was just literally saying you can't actually take it because your king is pinned, but I thought it was unnecessary. Yeah, all right, there's moves like rook a4. What would I have done there? Not sure. Probably would have just moved the knight somewhere. Actually, maybe moving there, I don't know. I didn't want to risk it. I thought I'll just take their knight. And I calculated that after they take, I give them a check and I just take it back. And it's pretty simple. Straightforward. Here, I went a6. But so Effort was asking me, what if I castled at this stage and put my rook under my queen? So I assume you mean castling this way or castling this way? So castling short, I probably wouldn't do it here, even though it's totally fine. Because I wasn't sure if, maybe they have some ideas. Not that there's any way for them to win here, I think. Castling long was a consideration for me here. But I just wanted to take no chances. I could have castled long right away. But it does still allow them to have this piece here. Probably it doesn't do anything though, honestly. I think that would have been just as good, Afro. I think that would have been just as good. Apparently, computer wants rook a4. It's, I'm up a rook and, at least 2 pawns pretty much. So it all would have been winning. So it would have been totally fine to do that as well. I just thought I'm going to play this really slowly. I have no rush. I don't need to give them any chances at all. They have to develop their pieces. The only way they can develop currently is this way, this way, this way, bringing the bishop out, knight out. And I thought the only thing that can potentially be a nuisance in this very moment is if they bring the bishop there, or maybe if they go there. But if they went there, I don't know, would have figured something out too. Probably maybe I give a check, I'm not quite sure. Maybe I move the knight. I just figured I'll just go a6. Just take away the one active square on my side of the board that any of their pieces can kind of get to right now. That's why I went there. But I think it would have been just as good to castle already. Maybe preferable, honestly, I'm not sure. Now, here I just basically brought the knight into e5. My main two choices I was thinking was knight e4 and knight e5. I went knight e5 because I knew they were likely going here, and if they didn't go here, if they moved the bishop back, for example, the idea was actually just to go knight d3, and then maybe they would have traded. It would have just prevented them from castling if they didn't want to take with the bishop. So if we can imagine that position, let's just say I went here and they decided to go back, because this person was shuffling a little bit. If I went here, actually it would probably, probably even worse for them depending on what they do, because this actually could happen too. They could end up getting mated if they're not careful. It probably wouldn't have happened, but that would be a nice little smother checkmate. But they would end up having to go there, but still, maybe that would have been better. So my main idea was if they for some reason went back, I was just going to go here, and if they go here, they're getting mated, so they wouldn't have gone there. And if they take, all right, they're just probably not castling here, or they go there, and it just seemed all really bad. I just was taking away space. There I was obviously going to take. When you're up so much material, it's not a bad idea just to trade down. That's why I traded there. Once again, like the computer saying I should take this, fair enough, I could take it, but I have no reason to risk anything. I'll just take it. Sorry, I just take the knight. Knights can be tricky. Why risk it? Defend the bishop, that's all that was. Here, just giving him a check. If they tried to defend like this too, I'd just take the queen anyway. Apparently that's a miss win because it's just so winning, actually. I just go here. I just realized, yeah. And that's just a checkmate. So at that stage, it's pretty straightforward cleanup. Maybe this wasn't all best, the quickest way to win, but just trying to play this like I would tell people, just play safe, Don't overcalculate if you're not sure. No need to risk anything, and make sure they have pawns before you do something like this so you don't stalemate. They have 2 pawns that can push, and then just simple checkmate. Alright, so that was also a pretty quick game. Any questions before I move on to the next game? Or was that probably, I assume, relatively straightforward?